bonsoir. I'm Mademoiselle and Sasu Deuxième Chadelle. Welcome to another video. As you guys can tell by the title, we're going to be doing another KRIK. When I say KRIK, you guys comment down below KRAK. And while you're commenting down below, scan this lovely QR code for all my links. Y'all already know we are a nonprofit founder. All right, boom, boom, boom. We are starting a LakayRo youth dance company 2026. If you guys would love to donate to the team, we're trying to secure the space. Definitely do so. Shout out to those of you guys who already have. I appreciate you so very much. We do have a 7-day $1 trial. Make sure you guys check that out for extra content. When I'm not posting online, I'm posting on the membership. I love you guys on the membership. Shout outs to those of you guys who are on there as well. And of course, shout outs to the investors and the people that subscribe to all 3 channels, because if you're not aware, we have multiple channels. This is the Haitian channel. We have the main channel where we do rants, reactions, commentary, and talk about scams in the Black community. And then we have my personal channel where I do vlogs, story times, etc. So if you guys want to check everything out, again, a lovely QR code right here. This story is actually a pretty long one. Get your tea, get your snacks, get everything you need. I have a little bit of water. Let's hope it lasts me for the rest of this, right? Hi, Ivana. I hope you are well and thriving. I watch your videos and I find them really interesting. Thank you. I was just watching one and I thought, too bad I don't have anything to share. And just as I said that, I realized that I 100% do. At about 40 years old, I went on a vacation to New Orleans. A friend of mine had recently started to venerate her ancestors, and I had decided I wanted to learn ancestor veneration myself. This is not why I visited New Orleans. I just wanted to go on a vacation, and the plane tickets to New Orleans were cheap. I love New Orleans. I'm actually so due for another trip to New Orleans. It's actually one of my favorite places in the US, next to Seattle. Like, I love New Orleans so much, so I can't even blame you. And the tickets do be pretty affordable. I had never been to New Orleans, so I decided to go. This was towards the end of the panini. Can't say that word on YouTube, so use context clues. And I really needed to get out of the house and go see a new place. New Orleans was absolutely amazing. On social media and TV, New Orleans is depicted as nothing but a party town where people go to get drunk. And while drinking is definitely a part of the culture, the city has tons of art, music, and extremely rich Black history and culture, including hoodoo and voodoo practice. But soon learned that it is also a place where the veil is extremely thin. I was interested in ancestor veneration. I decided to visit a spiritual shop while I was there and got the chance to speak with the owner. At the time, I was not very intuitive at all, but as I was chatting with the owner, I got the strong feeling that I would be moving there soon, and said as much. Soon as I said, the owner began to laugh and issued me a warning, saying that many of the people who feel called to move to New Orleans don't make it. You know what's actually funny about that? I felt a call to move to New Orleans years ago, like in my early 20s, and I genuinely wanted to do it. And all the people from New Orleans that I know kept telling me it was a horrible idea, and people from New Orleans rarely ever make it. They were like, you ever heard of anyone making it out of New Orleans except for like key rappers like Lil Wayne? Other than that, you don't make it out of New Orleans. And I was like, huh. And one of those people, I listen to people and I see other people's experiences and I learn from it. So I literally put the dream in a hole, but I ain't gonna hold you. I'm still open. I don't know. I love New Orleans. At the time, I really didn't think much of my intuition or the warning. I enjoyed the rest of my trip and went home. 6 months later, I got the opportunity to work remotely for a few months while I finished writing a couple of chapters of a book I was working on. I planned to go to the country of Turkey, but soon after making this decision, the country was closed to US citizens due to the panini. My next choice was Hawaii, but it ended up being extremely expensive, so I ended up going back to New Orleans. I arrived just as Mardi Gras season started. Many people do not know that Mardi Gras is not just a weekend or a week, but it lasts 1, 2, or 3 months depending on the year. I enjoyed myself immensely going to see the various parades, second lines, live music, and the beautiful visual art of graffiti and art galleries found throughout the city. Generally just explored the city and wrote. On one particular day, I wandered into a popular healing center, which was constructed like a 2-story indoor mall with glass windows all along the front of the buildings. The back of the building housed a popular entertainment venue and a grocery store, while the front of the building had a botanica, I think she meant to say, owned by a well-known local voodoo priestess with a large indoor gathering space in front of the Botanica. Of course, at the time, I knew none of this. I was just wandering into what looked like a very interesting artsy space. The large gathering space, which is sometimes bare, was hosting an installation of Mardi Gras float statues. I'm an artist and love looking at stuff in general, so I was really enjoying myself from statue to statue and appreciating the artistry and history until I came to this one particular statue. It looked nothing like the other statues, which seemed to be made of cardboard or plaster and depicted animals and carnival figures like kings or queens or famous mystical figures. This statue was mainly a wooden mask. As soon as I looked at it, I knew that it was not like the other figures and was a living entity. I don't know how I knew this, but it looked like a very plain wooden mask, but I knew it was an entity and I knew this as soon as I laid eyes on it. I cannot say that I felt scared, but I will say that I left the space immediately, though I had definitely planned to stay and look at more statues and check out the stores of the building. After I left, I honestly did not think much about it. Even though I had never seen anything like that in my life, I just went about my day. That night, I had a nightmare like I've never had before in my life. In the dream, something was chasing me, but I couldn't see what. I was running, but also guiding someone else. We ran from room to room, crawling through holes in walls and climbing down ropes. I'm not sure who the other person was guiding, but I think it was another version of myself. Throughout the dream, even though I was running, I knew I was stronger than whatever was chasing me. Even though at this time in my life, I did not consider myself intuitive, when I woke up sweating from the dream, I knew without a doubt that the only reason that whatever was trying to kill me in my dream was not able to kill me in my sleep because I knew I was stronger than whatever that thing was. That would have led me to go bathe in some holy water. I don't have time. I don't play with dreams because usually my dreams do come true or it's a forewarning or foreshadowing of something and I don't got time. I am not one to be over dramatic, but this day I believe without this knowing what I believe without this knowing. Okay. I believe without this knowing the spirit would have taken my life and I would not have waken up. Waking up, I immediately got a bowl, made some salt water, and used the rag to wash my body in the salt water. I would have just taken a salt bath, but I did not want to wake my room, who was also my landlord, wake my roommate with the water. I'm guessing the water gets loud in that space. Eventually, I was able to fall back asleep. Cut to maybe 3 to 4 months later, I have now gotten a job in New Orleans and live there permanently. So you don't listen, huh? All right. I'm attending an event located in the same building as where I saw the masked entity. The entrance to the event space is on backside of the building. Okay, I think she meant to say where. Where the Mardi Gras statues were, where I saw the mask at the front. It's a little weird. But because of where I parked, I'm walking by the front of the building, but on the other side of the street. Out of curiosity, I look across to see if I can see the mask since the front of the building is all glass. And I can actually see it even from across the street. It's still there. And as I see it as a feeling of pure hatred directed at me, washes over me and floods me, and I am terrified. Again, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. While I could hear no voice speaking to me and I could not see an imagery, an emotion of hatred and threat so strong was directed at me that I almost froze in my tracks. If I could turn the words, I hate you and I will kill you, into pure emotional energy, that is exactly what I felt. I knew that whatever the mask was, it wanted me dead and would kill me if it could. I've never felt energy so strong in my life, or good or bad. The feeling was pure, pure threat screaming at me, I want to kill you. Again, terrifying. And again, I kept it moving and went to the party I was planning on attending. I didn't have any nightmares that night, at least none I could remember. Cut to a couple years later, I'm visiting a Botanica shop located at the front of the building. The mask, along with the rest of the carnival statues that were on display as part of the temporary exhibit, are gone, and I'm picking up some supplies. Why do you keep going to the same fucking space? It's bad enough that you went to go move to New Orleans after you were warned. And you keep going back to the same space. Like, girl, there was so many other Botanicas in New Orleans. So come on. I think for protection and for road opening. As a side note, I don't do any type of denomination or send it back work. Way too messy for me. For whatever reason that day, I decided to ask about the mask. And I described the mask to the two employees I'm chatting with and just to ask if they ever saw it. I don't give them the backstory, just ask them if they remember it. I assume they would, since they were not that many statues in the display, maybe 8 at most, and the display was up for probably at least 6 months. And you have to walk by when you leave the front entrance of the store. They have no idea what I'm talking about. I describe it again to be sure, and they seem very earnestly to have no idea what I'm talking about, despite walking by it multiple times a day for months. Their energy also seemed extremely honest and open. I got the feeling they really had no clue what I was referring to, which is notable to me since people who work in botanicas and spiritual shops are often spiritually sensitive or psychic, insensitive to energies and presences. I have spoken about this to two of my friends who are spiritually sensitive and have decided that whatever I saw was probably some entity trying to hide in this exhibit and did not appreciate being discovered. That is terrifying. The fact that nobody saw the mask and you saw it, yeah, that's probably what it was. The gathering space where the mask was is a place where voodoo celebrations are held, but these celebrations were community gatherings honoring life and giving thanks. Nothing dark, I know of, because I attended one at one point. I would love to hear your opinion on this incident and hear if you ever heard of anything like this. All right, I have heard of something like this before, but more so like in person, not necessarily. Well, okay, this is in person, right? But I'm talking about like outside of museums, exhibits, and other spiritual items being there. I've had something like this happen to me. If you remember, there was a story I did with the burning chickens and how I was able to see the burning chicken sent after one of my uncles to kill him, and nobody else was able to see it. There was another story in which I was able to see a ghost or a spirit that nobody else was able to see that was in a family member's house. I don't remember. I have to really sit down and think of if I could remember of an object. I don't think I've seen an object, but I do have a friend that have seen like things in spiritual spaces before that nobody else saw. And then it led to crazy things and spiritual attacks happening. Child, I hope you're doing well in New Orleans because that would have led my ass to leave. I don't got time for that because New Orleans ain't no joke. That's a very spiritual space. Like you said, the veil is very thin. I love it there. Would I live there? No, because I'll take my warnings. I ain't gonna hold you still. A part of me be like, oh my God, I'd love to live in New Orleans. I want to live in one of those old style mansion houses, but then I already know that there's so much history attached to all these properties, and I don't want no smoke. Almost every single time I go to New Orleans, I pick up new spirits that don't leave for months at a time. So it's just like, yeah, I already knew. I already know the spiritual ramifications for me trying to go there. So I put the dream of going and living there in a hole. But honestly, yeah, I do think you probably did stumble upon some sort of spirit that didn't want to be discovered, and you were the only one that was able to see it, and that's why it attacked your ass and tried to kill you in a dream. I don't know where or what that spirit was here to do, but I'm very sure it was up to no good, and it probably succeeded in its whatever, hence why you weren't able to see it anymore. I need you to take warnings next time and don't go to the same space in which you feel weird. Okay, like go somewhere else, girl, because Jesus, that was a lot. That was a lot, all right? So comment down below. Have you guys ever heard a similar story or went through something similar? This is something that does happen to people. This one was low-key creepy. Even I felt a little bit of something while reading that one. So with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, peep that QR code, scan it. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. If you're on the membership, you are an investor, you on the Patreon, you've donated or anything to the nonprofit. I love you so very much, especially for those of you guys who keep doing the free things like liking, commenting, hyping, sharing, subscribing to all the channels. Like, that means so much to me. You guys might see me take a little bit of a hiatus because I got a lot going on. If you guys are in the membership, y'all know what's going on. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for being the best community out there. With that being said, I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Bye.